What's going on, everybody? My name is Angel. This is the game that I'm never ever going to finish. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different than my other videos posted more than a year ago. Unity has now decided to charge their developers 20 cents for every install after a certain threshold. And the only reason that they've done this is because they want to set a standard for the Overton window. They want to over ask, and then when they pull back and they're like, okay, we've listened to you, community. In fact, it's only going to be this much, and it's only going to be, per this amount of installs, and then perhaps nothing thereafter. Like, the maximum that you're going to pay to Unity is like $2,000 or something like that. Obviously, that's a far cry from where we're at right now, but this is where I think that they're heading with this completely asinine approach. I've been working on the game that you're watching right now for over 5 years. Obviously, it has not been a full-time effort, though I've made my efforts to do that. It's not a reality for a lot of developers, and this is kind of the problem that, Unity is not even acknowledging. So I think that when they came up with this idea, they're just like, oh, hey, look at this random indie title that's got, two squares as the protagonist, and everybody loves to play it. And the developer's giving it away for free, or maybe they're making a bunch of money, Flappy Bird style on it. We should cash in on that. The evil in that approach is probably not so apparent because it's not perceived that the person working on that title has put in so much effort that they deserve the hundreds of thousands of dollars that came from it. But when you're looking at other developers, and I'm not saying that I am particularly this, though I'm making my greatest effort. I know that other developers are putting in far more effort into their projects. But when you look at a title that somebody's, putting their heart and soul into, they're spending every waking hour on, they're trying out new things, they're experimenting, they're creating the content separately from the game engine. These are all things that Unity has zero affiliation with. It's like me uploading photos to my computer. My computer, with an operating system run from Microsoft, has no bearing on the pictures that I take. So I look at this nonsensical move from Unity as like a greedy, mean-spirited cash grab. And it's like, do you understand what goes into games are they're the highest level of artistry that we have available to us in the 21st century. I say that unequivocally because music has to go into it. Drawings have to go into it. 3D, now that that's a thing, has to go to it. I say now that that's a thing, has been a thing forever, but you know what I mean. Now that we're considering what the art space is. Story has to go into it. Like anything that you can think of in the arts is found in a game. And the more of the arts that they employ, the more the game is appreciated for its artistry. And even games that are simple, the two-box protagonist stuff that I talked about a moment ago, those things are marrying, first of all, level design and character design. Those are forms of art, but they're marrying the sound effects and music and all the other components that go into making their game. And then, you tack on the gameplay aspect to that to make sure it's fun. And that is like an art form in itself. It's like you're painting. It's like you're taking part in the art. So Unity thinks that their engine is the reason these games exist. These games would exist if not for Unity. These games would exist under Godot. These games would exist under Unreal. These games will exist under RPG Maker. Like point to it. Flash. Like these games will exist. It just so happens that Unity, based on its history, people have looked at it and said, this is the game that I want to build my project with. I like that they're adding all of these components to their engine, or I like them as a company. Now, they've fucked that up. They've completely destroyed their reputation. The next game that I work on, and by the way, I've been working in Unity for over a decade. I've been using Unity since like 2012, back when I made Super Mario, Gobble It, the bodybuilding block, a number of projects that have never seen the light of day, including another one that you guys have not seen since my year-long hiatus from YouTube. There's another app that I've been working on all through Unity. Like, I am not going to be using Unity following this announcement. Like, yeah, I'm in jail right now. I'm forced to use it for my existing project. I have to. But am I going to for my next project? Hell no. Is it possible for me to marry all of my assets over to a new engine? Yeah, it's possible, but I've already sunk so much time into this. I don't want to spend the rest of my life making this game. You know what I mean? And Unity, as important as they think they are, has really made a fucking an engine that has made so many problems for my life. Like, I don't know if Unity realizes this, but we have to deal with bugs and system crashes and incompatibility and rendering processes changing with every fucking update. And it's like, using the engine is already hell on earth. And you want to pretend like you're the reason for any game's success, when in reality, if you ever fucking spent a day with a single one of the developers that are independently working on a project on your stupid fucking engine, you'll realize that they fucking hate it. They fucking hate it. Sure, you can get used to the interface and you can know what you're doing and you can fly by a few things, but try anything new and it's just like, okay, this sucks. I've imported this asset, which I very much try not to do. I use only Unity projects for compatibility reasons. I've been burned by, attempting to use other plugins in the past. So, everything that I use now is, if it's not from Unity Technologies, I just straight up don't use it in my project. But if you import anything and you take that risk, your whole project can go kaput. We make thousands of backups because randomly, Unity, if it just decides to load up wrong one day, or if you save a file wrong, the whole thing crashes. So, if I were Unity, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm great enough to be 20% of your margins. Because once we post these games anywhere, we're charged for every sale that the game makes. Now, Steam is at least smart about this. Steam is like, okay, well, if you sell your game, we're going to take a cut of it, but we're not going to charge you for just, having your game downloaded. That would be fucking crazy. That would be insane. They charge you for being a developer, but it's only like $100. That's like nothing. If you're passionate at all, it makes sense to do that, but they're not going to charge you because people want to download your game. You know what I mean? Like, Unity is threatening people with financial hardship just for making a good product that frankly promotes their business model. Unity would be nothing. Unity would be Godot right now. Look at the value of Godot's business and look at the value of Unity. Unity would be Godot if not for the people that have already used their product and made banging software, fun shit, good looking stuff. You know what I mean? The engine is versatile. It lets you, frankly, do as much as you want to do, per your capacities, really. It's just so silly to me that they would have the gall to think that their engine is worth 20 cents of any user's experience. And it sounds so petty to say that. First of all, I'm not coming from a place of this is going to affect me so bad. When I say this is the project that I'm never going to finish, I feel like I genuinely mean that, because I'm so married to the process of when I have any free time, I just come and I watch the gameplay and I think of things to nitpick and tweak and I play it. I see what feels good and doesn't. But this decision by Unity has all but made me decide that I'm just never going to release the project, because there's this unknown. We're getting mixed messaging from the Unity team about, how this 20 cents is going to be accosted. Accosted, yes, that's a good word for it. And, days later, they come out with a different message about it. It's just there's too many unknowns. And now there's a tarnished reputation for the engine, as the industry goes. So there's no reason for my next project to be through Unity. It's very easy for me to learn how to import my assets made from other software. It's very easy for me to drag and drop my MP3 files that I make myself in other programs. Again, it goes to that thing that I pointed out, towards the earlier part of this video. Unity doesn't realize that the content in games are not the result of just their tools. Yeah, you've acquired the APIs to things that you did not build so that we can render things nicely. And then you slapped, your interface over it. I see you VFX graph. I see you rendering DirectX and all that. Like, these are not things that Unity Technologies particularly makes. You can import these things into your own game engine and just use that. There are people that have game engines right now that they're, just letting people use for free to not even compete with Unity, just to show that it's possible. But I This decision by Unity is the fucking dumbest thing and the most arrogant, rude, and mean thing that I've ever heard from any company. And I guarantee you, it will be the fall of Unity. If they manage to get any money from any developers following this, it will be very short-lived, because most of the things that happen with games are just downloaded. They're not often paid for. They're free to play. It's gonna not incentivize Unity developers to make free-to-play games, which is a huge market right now for games. It's an emerging way of releasing a fighting game so that people can see if they actually, freaking like it before they sink 300 hours into the experience or so, and then entice people to buy DLC characters, as that's commonly the expectation. Free-to-play games with Unity, I think, are going to die off. And if they don't, when the developer gets that bill and is like, oh, I'm getting charged $600 this month and I've only made $1,000, that's going to be a big problem. Or if they don't even have a price on their game and they're like, I made $10 this month and a little bit of clout on Twitter, and now I'm getting a $600 bill from Unity. Like, what the fuck is this? As soon as that stuff starts to happen, Unity games go off market, or they go off of wherever they're being posted. And all that lives for the game is a cesspool of downloaded games through torrents and stuff, off-market things. Nobody's going to want to keep their projects out in the wild when it's costing them more money than to not. And that's the great fear with this latest move by Unity. But anyways, I just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to keep this relatively short and not drone on about the progress of the video game, because it all happens. It's all on my Discord if you want to go there and then check out the progress section. I post everything that I do there. It's been quite slow as of late because of my responsibilities and stuff, but it's something that I'm still working on, and I'm not dead. So there's that update. Unity, you've lost a developer of over a decade. You probably would have never seen a dime from me from this decision, because none of my games have reached over 200,000 downloads. But that's the thing about the games industry. You can never expect a certain amount. You can look at a game even like Final Fantasy 16, where they expected so much more than what they ended up getting, despite making a banger game. You can genuinely have a very well-designed product that once it's released, people aren't going to resonate with or click with or want to spend a lot of time with or invite their friends to play on and so on, that it just doesn't come close to the sales that you expect. And you can make a game that is total shite and, has little effort and is quirky and is just like a weekend project, and people see it, they pick it up, and they just really dig their heels in. I mean, are you really going to penalize those developers for just using your engine, or are you going to have to cut a deal, left, right, and center, just so that people aren't going bankrupt for the mistake of posting a Unity project? That is the perception now for this idiotic move. And I hope that once the shock value dims a little, the jackasses at Unity come back and do what I already expect them to do, which is to come back and just say, hey guys, we listened to you. Here's the new model. Isn't it much more tame? And people are like, oh, I guess that's not so bad. 100% that's what's going to happen. It's already kind of happened already when they backtracked on how downloaded games that have already been downloaded games are tracked and charged. But I guess I'll be back when that silly ass obvious update comes, and I'll give you my thoughts on it when it happens. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to follow the progress of this game, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, but mostly join the Discord, at least just to see the updates in the progress section, because frankly, that's where we're going to see most of them. I realize that my old videos, when I go over this game, are robotic and boring, and I use them to sleep sometimes. This is really what they're good for. They're not good content. Yeah, if there's progress in the game, it should be apparent. So hopefully you see it, and hopefully Unity changes their fucking ways. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Bye.